wanted to talk. And to me, the lot was secondary at that point, because you have to build the relationship, like, Brandon always say. And I kind of felt like that, at that, something just came in me, and I just felt like, hey, this guy wants to talk. So we're going to talk. I'm going to let him get everything out, and then we'll get back to the actual lot. But the only thing that we had a problem with this deal was James had an attorney that he was friends with, and the attorney was kind of like a butthole. You know what I'm saying? And James wouldn't move without this attorney's say so. So we had to kind of get the attorney on board, and I think he kind of gave Brandon a hard time. So then I just
Yeah.
double back.
So
I just
I'll tell them about that. So
okay.
last week, y'all, we were talking in Telegram, and we talked about how Jamil was saying how I took over and I called the attorney, and I did, and I talked to the attorney, and he agreed to $500 deposit. As he didn't agree. So what happened was, is he wanted 3,000. I said no, we can't do that. I went with my spiel, which I always do. Yeah, we can't do $500, sir. We're buying 30 to 50 lots every month. If we put $3,000 on every lot, that wouldn't make any financial sense. So we have a policy is $500. If that's fine with you, then we can move forward. He said, well, it's not really about the price. 500. The real issue is all these buyers. They want to put stipulations and contingencies where they can back out of the agreement no matter what. And we're screwed. I was like, no, we're definitely not going to do that. We do have a due diligence period. It's going to be 40 days, and what that's going to do is allow us to run an inspection period, run a feasibility study where we can study the soil, study the land, make sure it's buildable. This, and that. He was like, okay, yeah, see that, then that's good. As long as there's no other contingencies that are allowing you to back out up until closing, then I'm fine with it. If you need an inspection period, that's no problem. Let me go ahead and talk to the seller about this, and I'll get back to you. Right? That's along the lines of what he said. But he said that 500 shouldn't be a problem as long as there's no contingencies. That's what he said. 500 is not going to be a problem as long as there's no extra contingencies. If you need an inspection, that's no problem. I said, okay, great. I'll send you an agreement, which I did. And I do this with everybody. Sellers, attorneys, agents, it doesn't matter. I do the same spill with everyone. I'm not lying. I'm being honest, and I'm telling them what it needs to be. Right? It needs to be 40 days. It needs to be 500. And if for some reason it fails at the inspection, we're gonna give you a report. So we're just not gonna back out for no reason. We're gonna give you a detailed report. It's gonna tell you exactly why. From that point, we'll try to renegotiate terms if it's even something we want to deal with. If not, we're just gonna back out, and then you're good to move forward. So he said, okay, send me the agreement. I'll talk with the seller, and bam. I think it was either the next day or a couple of days later. He sends. It might have been the next day. He calls me, but I couldn't pick up because I was getting a haircut, and he left a message, and he said in the message, "Hey, yeah, so after speaking with my client, we're not going to move forward with anything less than $3,000. Um, something. I don't even know." So I tried calling back. He didn't pick up. The next day I called him, and he answered the phone. Actually, we had a whole email thread real quick, which I can read you guys. I emailed him right after the call, and I said, "Hey Peter, I received your call. I tried to call back, but no answer. Yesterday you told me 500 was fine as long as the contingencies are good. Me and my team are ready to move forward and start the inspection process. I don't understand why 500 is not enough. Your client will receive 52,500 in his pocket in a few weeks. Why will $500 stop that? Money is the muzz. That isn't money he will see in his pocket right now anyways. It's just to open up the escrow and start the process. You can call the title company. I partner with Miranda Homes. We buy 50 plus lots every single month all around Florida. 500 is standard for most builders, if not less. Also, my associate Jamel was the one in contact with your client. I'm glad, Jamel, he did not remember that. All right. He spent 2+ hours speaking with him as your client was telling him his life story. They built a good relationship, and it's my job to handle the agreements. We will not contact him again, but please let me know why we cannot move forward. He says, no, that does not work. While I appreciate some flexibility on your part, that is inadequate. You just don't understand anyone else's point of view and importance. Since you made such a big deal out of 3,000 minimum requirement, which would show sincerity and good faith on your part, let's just part ways. Good luck to you. We will sell it to someone else who will pay $3,000. So that's when I called him, because I'm like, man, it sounds like he thinks I'm making a big deal when I'm really not. I just want to, help his client and put some money in his pocket. So I called him and I said, hey man, I just really don't understand why 500 is not enough when you said it wouldn't be a problem as long as there's no other contingencies. And then this guy just pretty much went off, right? He started to disrespect me and my company, really. He said, your company is a F on the BBB and you got a bunch of bad reviews. And if you can't pay $3,000, then how are you even buying lots? Da, 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 da. We have the upper hand. This is a seller's market, so I call the shots. And finally he paused and I'm like, sir, what company did you look up? And he was like, pause for like a minute, and then I said, New Kingdom Solutions. He was like, yeah, that company. I looked it up and it went to another company and this company, and then there's just a bunch of bad reviews. I'm like, sir, it's just my company. There's no other companies that it can go to. And I looked online. My company isn't even on BBB. And there's nothing that you can find negative about it. There's only one thing you can find, which is connected investors, and that's just my profile saying we will buy your home or house or lot. That part I didn't say, but that was in my mind. I didn't say it because immediately he cut me off and started to go ham again. And finally, I just cut him off. I'm like, hey, man, you know what? You're being very disrespectful. Honestly, I don't even want to deal with you anymore. And he hung up on me. So I'm not going to lie. My blood was boiling. So that was probably the best thing I could have said, because I could have said a lot worse. So I just stopped. And then I hit up my buyer. And I told him, hey, listen, this deal's going to be a no-go. This attorney is very disrespectful, trying to push me around. And I'm sorry to waste your time. He said he wants $3,000 minimum, and yeah. So my buyer responded saying, "Hey man, I definitely understand. I'm sorry." He responded again saying, "But stand by." At that point, I'm like, "Stand by? I already just canceled this deal." So I hit up Jamel and I'm like, "Hey, listen, my buyer might accept $3,000. So if he does, we're gonna switch this around. You're just going to go ahead and take over." Well, he was already dealing with the seller, but I dealt with the attorney because I'm usually good at that. So my buyer accepted the $3,000 the next morning. I hit up Jamel and I'm like, hey, listen, so go ahead and reach out to the seller, reach out to the attorney, and, let's make this thing happen. Don't say my name, don't say my company. We'll just put this under your name, your company, and you'll be the seller side. I'll be the buyer side, which is how a JV works. It's just with my main buyer, I don't like to do that because me and him build a really good relationship, and his title company will not split assignments, right? They only deal with one. So Jamel sent, I filled out a contract, had Jamel sign it under his company. Jamel sent that bad boy over to the attorney, and today the attorney accepted it, sent back the agreement signed. I sent it to my buyer. He accepted it. So in about a month, we're both going to make $3,000 each. $6,000 total. So Jamel, thank you. Amazing job on that. For real. Next time, I try to think, what could I have learned from this situation, right? Because I do the same exact thing with all these attorneys. Right. And one thing that I guess I realize is if they're not going to budge, don't just, quit or cancel the deal or say you can't do anything. Go back to the buyer side. See if they will do something, because he's right. Right. Most of these buyers will put $100 or $500 down on a plot of land, which I get it. They're buying a lot. Right. And even as a wholesaler, when you do houses, you do land, you're putting nothing down on this contract. You put $100 down on this main contract, and then have your buyer put a bigger earnest money, right? So I reached out to the buyer, and the buyer agreed to $3,000. Not easily. Originally it was $1,000 because I'm like, man, let me try to get 1,000. I'll reach back out to the attorney, see if he wants to do 1,000, and he said no. So I'm like, damn, like what the hell? Like that's when I was like, man, you originally said 500. Like, what's the problem? All went downhill. Well, the buyer said stand by, and he ended up getting $3,000 for this deal. So, which they have plenty. They could put $3,000 down on probably every deal, honestly, right? But it just doesn't make sense for them to do that because again, they're buying a lot of land, and some of it they have to back out. If you got to put $3,000 on every plot of land and back out, like that's just too much work, too much money, and a lot of them aren't, paying cash for all these lots. Some of them have a fund or they have private money or whatever it is that they're dealing with. So, long story, not short because I just told you the whole story. Jamel, you're a beast. I appreciate you. We got a official JV deal that's gonna be locked up. Well, it's already locked up, already signed, closing in a month and a couple days, and everyone here can get more deals. Me and Troy have one right now that's closing this week. Two actually that's closing this week. Me and Kadesh, my man who just joined, the beginning of this year, we're on a hot streak. I don't know how many we did. It was like 5 to 10 deals probably. And ultimately, y'all, it's just believing and putting in hard work. All right. So that's a perfect transition into this book. But before I get into it, anyone have anything they want to say? Any questions? Anything?
Consistency is key.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I had a similar situation like that in North Carolina with a deal I got in North Carolina. Same thing. The the seller wanted a $2,000 EMD, and I was like, man, I know my buyer ain't gonna go for that. So what I did, I just got brave and I went to my buyer and was like, hey, look, man, he want a $2,000 EMD and he wanted non-refundable. My buyer was like, I don't care, I just want it. I was like, all right. And he took he took the $2,000 EMD and we moved forward. So you never know, man. You gotta ask. You gotta open your mouth and ask sometimes.
100%, man.
Congratulations to all three of y'all. Y'all do a very good job. And maybe just thinking about it whenever people are going at it and just not really wanting to listen to nobody. It could be that they're just having a bad day as well. So staying calm is, key too. And
I
y'all did
love
good.
I love that you said that, Kara, because when I was on the phone with him, the fact that my blood started boiling already was it was kind of like a red bull for me because that stuff doesn't usually happen to me. If I'm in like a really high vibration and I spend really really good quality time with God previous, which I always do, but the fact that I got blood boiled and that thought didn't come to my brain first was telling me, man, hold on, you're not in the proper state, right? Because I treat everything like that. Everything, because again, we're energy, y'all. We're just a ball. Everything in this world is energy that vibrates at different frequencies, which I can show you the chart for that, right? And when you're vibrating at a lower frequency, things tend to tick you off, right? You tend to have attitude, you tend to have anger and all this stuff, right? Whereas if you are vibrating on a high frequency of love, of peace, of joy, right? Instead of getting ticked off, you'll have thoughts of, man, I wonder what's wrong with this guy. Like, why is he acting like that? And that's usually where I'm at. Usually someone can go off on me and I'll be listening to them and then I'll ask them, man, is everything all right? Like, what's going on? And that'll change everything, right? So that right afterwards, I hung up the phone and I'm like, man, I kind of jacked that up. Even though I didn't do anything bad, I didn't go off on him or nothing. I'm like, man, like, I wonder what's wrong with him. Like, what's going on? What's bugging him? Because on the phone he was giving me attitude. In the email he kind of had a little attitude. The prior day before he kind of had a little attitude. Yes, he's an attorney, but I've dealt with a lot of attorneys, and I never had this kind of issue. Now, and then I've dealt with other people that aren't attorneys, owners, all buyers, and most of them are good, but some of them have these attitudes, right? And one thing that I learned is that you fight not against flesh and blood, but you fight spirits. You fight principalities, dark rulers, spiritual wickedness in high places, right? You fight energy. That's what you're fighting, right? So whenever you interact with someone and it's going south, right? Not because of you, but because of their attitude or because of their energy, right? Understand that you're not really fighting them and they're not fighting them. They're dealing with energy, they're dealing with spirits, they're dealing with negative, evil stuff that's bothering them or possibly even in them, right? And if you have enough discernment, you can really see and feel that, right? So I was feeling that from this guy, but it's like my mind wasn't really even clicking at that moment, which it usually does, right? It usually does immediately. I'll be like, man, what's going on? And I'll have all this empathy for this person. And I'll end up asking them what's wrong. And then I'll end up praying for them, which a lot of, if y'all watch my sales calls, I've done this a lot. And I've recorded and I posted it, right? Because I've dealt with sellers who are tripping. And then I'll just be like, man, is everything all right? Like, what's going on? And then they'll be like, no, you're calling me. I'm like, yeah, I know, but, it seems like something else is going on. And the next thing you know, we're having a whole conversation on their child or some crazy thing. And I'm like, hey, man, real quick, let me pray for you because I definitely understand what's going on and da-da-da-da, right? So I had to check myself and my vibration, my energy, just by not noticing what was going on and by giving in and allowing my blood to boil. Which, some people are like, Brandon, it's okay, that things like that happen. Yes, but I've lived in a place where it doesn't happen. And I can see it, and I can feel it, and I can help these people get out of it. Right? Luckily, though, I didn't go too off on this guy. Right? I didn't go back to old Brandon. And I passed it on to Jamel. I'm like, hey, listen, this is going to go through. I told him. I was like, man, something in me is telling me this is going to go through. This deal's going to close. Everything's going to go well. We just got to figure out how the hell to make it happen. Right? Obviously, I done messed up with this attorney, so you're going to go take over it, and this is how we're going to do it. We talked about this. I was walking back and forth outside. We had a conversation, and Jamel gave me advice too. He's like, hey, if it goes through, cool. If not, it is what it is. We got to move on. And he reminded me about that because it's like internally I knew, this deal it's gonna go through. Like, why is it bumpy road right now? Plus, I want him to get a land deal. I want us to JV. I want us to break bread and make money. So the fact that this is a little bumpy road, I'm like, man, what's happening right now? What's going on? Sometimes you just got to take a step back, relax, and let every day play out the way it's supposed to play out. And in the meantime, fix yourself, fix your energy, fix whatever the hell is imbalanced internally, and then keep pushing forward, God is good, though, y'all. That's my issue. I get agitated quick, and it's like a domino effect, and everything ticks me off, especially texting not going right. Hey, man, that's a real thing. That's a very real thing. And to fix that, Sadal, that's going to happen no matter what you do in life, all right? It's a internal thing. You have to be able to pray, do some affirmations, and meditate. That's the biggest thing, meditate. And when you meditate, allow your thoughts to be there, right? Detach from your thoughts. Understand that you are not your mind. You are not your thoughts. Everything that's going on up here, y'all, is not you. And the way you can prove this to yourself is sit down, close your eyes, and meditate, but tell yourself not to think. Say, I am not going to think. I'm going to sit here and not think. Next thing you know, you'll be thinking. Your brain will start going, and you think you're thinking, but if you just told yourself not to think and you are thinking, you're not the one doing that. Right? You're a physical being. Troy, I can see you, and I can see Jamel right now. Everyone else is off. If y'all have courage to show yourself, amazing. Right? But he is a physical person, and he's a physical person. I'm a physical person, right? If I tell myself not to think and I close my eyes and the thoughts won't stop, that's not me doing that. I'm not the one thinking. I'm not choosing to think. I actually chose not to think, but it's still happening, right? Ultimately, what this will allow you to do is snap out of the thoughts and realize, wait, I am not those thoughts. I'm not thinking. I'm choosing not to think, but they're still happening. So that can't be me. It's not you, right? What happens is you're connected to the thoughts, and you need to disconnect from the thoughts. We're too busy reacting to the thoughts instead of observing the thoughts. So through meditation, Sadaya, you can detach from your thoughts and start to observe them. Start to journal them down. Start to write them down and start to deal with them. Because if you can deal with whatever is playing over and over in your brain, you can now release that negative energy, because it's all energy. That's all it is. There's ultimately something within you that's bugging you, that's eating you, that's causing this agitation. It's not even the callers. It's not even the text messages. None of that, right? It's something else that maybe from your past, maybe from, trauma, right? Stuff that needs to be released and let go of. You need to understand it. Understand that it wasn't you. Understand it wasn't him. It wasn't your mom. It wasn't none of that, right? Whoever hurt you, it doesn't matter. It wasn't them. It wasn't you. It wasn't any of that, right? It was some evil force out there trying to ruin your life. And if anything, be mad at that evil force. And then just thank God that that thing has no power over you, right? Energy has no power over you. Because you are way more than just your body. You are a spirit. You are energy, right? So ultimately, if you're getting agitated quick, I would ground myself. I would be still. I'd start to thank God. I'd start to just be in a thankful place. And then be quiet. Focus on your breath. And as your thoughts come, try to snap out of the thoughts. And once you do that long enough, you'll start to be able to observe your thoughts. Journal those thoughts down, right? And then once you pull up your journal and you see, man, this thought pops up over and over and over again. Then you can deal with it. You can start to understand it. Ask God to help you. Like, man, help me get over this, and let it go, right? Also, the more you meditate and the more you don't attach to the thoughts will flee, and you'll literally start to feel the negative energy leave. And you might cry, you might sweat. There's a lot of different things that might happen. But ultimately, when that's happening, it's a beautiful thing. You're releasing all of that. From there, everything that happens in life, because life is going to happen no matter what, right? How we perceive it is based on the vibration that we're on, the energy that is within us, right? So this guy, Peter, the attorney, he had attitude, right? How I perceived it was from, what is that? It's I was being offended, right? My perception started to be offended instead of being in the perception of love, which is understanding, right? If I was in a vibration of love at that very moment, a very high vibration of place of peace, what happened wouldn't offend me. I would understand it, and from there I can make a decision to help this guy with whatever he's dealing with, all right? So life is going to happen. Everything in life is going to happen no matter what. How we perceive it is based on where we are at energetically. Where is our spirit at? Where's our energy at? Where is our vibration at? Is it in a high place? Is it in a medium place? Is it in a lower place? Right? And if you can deal with everything internally and let it go, your vibration will raise. Whatever happens won't agitate you because you'll be in a place of understanding. And working 2 jobs drain my energy. That's why it's hard. It's going hard for this business, so I can't actually breathe for once. Yeah, that's definitely a lot going on. You definitely have a lot going on. But it all starts internally. All right, I'd wake up a little earlier. I would spend some time praying, spend some time meditating, spend some time reading. Ultimately, self-care, self-love, mental health is number one, right? Yesterday is the past, right? Tomorrow isn't promised. You could be dead tomorrow. So the only thing that matters is right now. The bills tomorrow don't matter. Nothing tomorrow matters. And no one else matters. The only thing that matters is you. If you have kids, your kids don't matter. Your parents don't matter. Nothing matters at this very moment right now. It is 7:32 in Eastern time, right? This is the present moment. The only thing that matters is now. So how do you feel right now? Do you feel agitated now? Do you feel negative now? Is your energy low right now? Right? If it is, then the only thing you need to do and focus on is getting to a great place internally. Y'all, we don't need to wait for things to happen. We don't need to wait for checks to come in our pockets to feel great or happy. No, we need to feel happy before the checks come to our pockets. Right? Nothing in this world matters. Nothing at all. No one matters. Nothing matters. Because if you are not in a place of peace, then everything is just always going to go wrong and bad. And you're just never going to feel good. All right? So that job doesn't matter. doing this right now. It doesn't matter, right? Which sounds crazy, but it's a mindset. If you can convince yourself that nothing matters and just be one right now in this present moment, everything will start to flee. The thoughts about the job will leave. The thoughts about the bill will leave. The thoughts, that would all leave. And everything starts from your thoughts. Thoughts, right, lead to your emotions, your feelings, which lead to your actions. If you can get your thoughts right, then your energy is going to be right, your feelings are going to be right, and then your actions are just going to flow right, and everything will start to attract to you, yo. So, Sadai, you got this. Focus on yourself, your internal. Close your eyes, okay? And just allow the thoughts to come. Allow them to go. Detach to them. Do not react to them. Observe them. Journal them down. And let go. Any thoughts about the past, any thoughts about the future, do not matter. It's all a lie.
Hey, Brandon.
Yes, sir.
I just had a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been like flipping, like doing real estate, like land and wholesaling? How long have you been doing?
Since 2019, I got my first deal. So check it, right? I was working at, actually no, at this very moment, no, I was originally working at T-Mobile, and then I quit. And I was looking for deals. It took me 8 months. Could not get a deal. And I think a month or two before I got my deal, I quit, right? Because there's a book out there by Gary Brecker called The One Thing. And he pretty much says that you need to focus on one thing in life, right? Again, if we're a ball of energy, we have one amount, and we have 100% energy, right? If we're splitting that energy within multiple things, then we're not able to give 100% to one thing. We're giving them 50% here, 50% there, all that, right? Every wealthy person you know quit their job and they focused on one thing. Everyone. There is not one wealthy person, truly successful wealthy person at the highest. There are some that kept the job and now they're making a few millions, right? But they didn't start making millions till they quit their job. Why? Because you need to focus on one thing. Entrepreneurs, this new day entrepreneur, think that, oh, I can do real estate, I can do digital marketing, I can do all this different stuff, right? So they have 7 different businesses, which are 7 streams of income, which they think is good, but none of them are making over $100,000 a year. Why? Because the true wealthy person focus on one thing until that one thing is making 7 figures and very successful. Then they disperse that 7 figures on multiple streams of income, right? So I was working at T-Mobile and I was trying to find deals. Every part of me was like, hey, let go of T-Mobile, go ham on real estate. So that's what I did, right? I was searching for like 6 months, quit T-Mobile, started searching for these deals, but I was slacking. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't putting all my energy into it, right? I was very lazy before, right? Until I was about to lose my apartment. And then I realized, man, I need to go harder. I'm calling people every day, but not enough people, right? So I was scared and I got on my knees. I started praying, burst into tears. And the second I stopped crying, I just felt my spirit was like, hey, go drive for dollars, which I was doing all year. And all year I kept having this thought, go drive for dollars behind your apartments. There's houses back there. But I never did. I went to Tampa like a dummy. But this day, everything in me was like, go drive for dollars behind your apartments. So I did. And I wrote down, 50 properties back there. The next day, did the same thing. Actually, no, it was the next week. I skipped the whole week, right? And it hit me again. Yo, I'm about to lose my apartment. Burst into tears, got on my knees, and felt in my spirit, hey, go to Barnes & Noble and make calls. Me and my wife went to Barnes & Noble's. I did not make one call. Why? Because I was complaining the whole time to my wife, man, maybe this doesn't work. We've been doing this forever. What was my wife doing the whole time? Making those calls. She left voicemails one by one with Google Voice, and someone called her back about 10 minutes later. She said, and it went to voicemail. The voicemail was like, hey, I got a property here, and I want to sell it. Call me back. My eyes blew open. Long story short, a week and a half later, well, let me not. Actually, I think I might have been still at T-Mobile at this point. I might have quit later. I don't remember. Anyways, all I know is that I couldn't go to this guy's. I went to the house, looked at it, and it was a nice house. I told him, yeah, we definitely want it, and I can do this price. So then we left. The guy was like, let me think about it. He called us back the next day. He accepted the offer. But I was busy. My wife went to the house and she had him sign a paper contract. She knew nothing. She had no idea what the hell she was doing. He used to be a realtor. He was telling her everything about the contract. He had helped her fill it out and he signed it. All right. The very next day, I called one of my buyers who I met 2 weeks before because this deal was a sinkhole property. I went to a REI meetup, which if any of you guys haven't done this, download the app called Meetup and look up REI meetups. Every single city and state has different meetups. You can connect with builders, investors, other like-minded individuals because that's the number one thing is getting around other people that are like-minded, right? So I was doing that all the time. And the last time I went, I met an investor. He walked up to me and he said, "Here, if you find any sinkhole properties, let me know." Found a sinkhole property behind my apartments, right? Saved me. So I was like, wow, this is sinkhole property. Let me call this guy. He ended up coming to check it out. And he was like, I'll give you $105,000. I had it under contract for $105,000. I'm like, nah, man, like, come on, man. This is a nice area. I did the numbers. You can make a lot of money. Let me get 115. He was like, I'll do 110. I'm like, if you can do 110 and sign right now, we got a deal. He's like, I'll sign right now. Went to my car because I had a paper assignment, had to fill it out. Boom. A week and a half later, had $5,000, was able to pay my rent, did not get evicted. 2 weeks later, I get my second deal. I think it was a week after this. I was about to go to church on a Wednesday, and me and my wife got into like a stupid little argument, right? Literally like 1 minute, because we never argue. So we were about to, and she just went to sleep, and I was about to lay on my couch and go to sleep before church. The second I closed my eyes, I just felt this voice like, no, go look for more deals. So I'm like, man, I want to take a nap. But I kept feeling it. It's like I couldn't fall asleep. So I'm like, man, let me go look. So I open up PropStream. I pull a list by across the street from my house where there's other mobile homes and other houses. And the first house I seen on PropStream was a manufactured home, 1,600 square feet. And I'm looking at it, and it looks like crap. The grass is like 10 feet high, everything. I'm like, man, this could be a deal. I look at the comps, and I'm like, man, if I can get it for this price, this could be a deal. I went to True People Search, free route, and the lady's name, I can't remember her name, she had no numbers. I'm like, damn. But I scroll down on True People Search, there's associates, right, or relatives. So one of the relatives, I text them like, hey, do you know this person? It looks like their house is about to be auctioned because I pulled a little tax list on PropStream. And it's going to be auctioned in like 2 weeks. You know, I would like to help them. The lady called me like, hey, who are you? I'm like, yeah, I just seen your property is about to be auctioned in like a week. I just wanted to see, if you'd be interested in selling it. She's like, that's my mom's property. She lives in Georgia with my sister. Here's her number. Go give her a call. Boy, I called her right then and there. Her sister picks up. I'm like, hey, I just talked to your sister. She told me to call this number. I see your mom's about to lose the house. I would love to put some money in her pocket before she loses it. Were you interested in selling it? She's like, Mom, he wants to buy the house. And then I can hear her mom in the background. How much does she want to give me for it? I'm like, hey, I'll give her $70,000. And then she yells, $70,000. Her mom's like, give it to him. Boy, I was so excited. Now, I was doing houses. This is a manufactured home. Never did this, right? But I put that bad boy under contract. Very next day, went and looked at it. Took pictures of it. I still have pictures. I got to show you guys one day. I got to search for them. It was nasty in there, y'all. Nasty. Feces from rats all over the place. Garbage everywhere. They were like hoarders, whoever lived there. It was bad. But it's like my eyes can see a vision. I was able to internally take away all the garbage, and I noticed, man, all the walls look nice. The floors actually look pretty nice. Yo, this could be a deal. Put that thing under contract, and I marketed it on Facebook for a whole week. I mean, it was like 5 days. No one reached out. Finally, this guy named Brian, who I ended up doing my first land deal with and like 5 other deals, he hits me up. He's like, hey, can I come look at the property? So I'm like, yeah, of course. So next day, he went to look at it, and I met him there. and we're standing inside, and he's like, man, it's gonna need about $30,000 worth of work. I calculated about 35, and he was like, I'll give you 75,000. And I'm like, man, 85. All right. He was like, nah, man, I really need to be about 75. I'm like, listen, I need to make at least $80,000 on this. If you can do 80, we can move forward. I got agreement in the car. We can go. He was like, all right, I'll do 80. Because I wanted to manifest $10,000. Right? This whole time I'm like, I want to manifest $10,000 check. I want to manifest $10,000 check. I had it for 70. He agreed to 80. A week and a half later, closed my second deal. So those are my two first deals. And ever since, then in 2020, I started a videography company with my wife. So a lot of my energy, again, because you should only focus on one thing, I was doing all the admin, the emails, the marketing for that business, right? So while that business is prospering, I'm not really doing many deals because my energy is like all over the place, right? So I think the next deal in 2020, I probably did like 2-3 deals. 2021, probably another like 4 or 5 deals. Nah, maybe a little more. 2022, though, is where I really started to put my efforts in this. I think that's when I met Eli, and I started to do land the way he did it. That year, I don't know how many deals I've done, honestly. I gotta look. And then this year, I've been closing at probably like 2 to 6 deals every month. But it's just me. It's me and my assistant. You know, literally. And then there's life. Yo, because this is another thing too, right? When you are so trained into a 9-to-5 mindset, and everyone on this call is or has been, right? That's a completely different person from a wealthy person who is in an entrepreneur mindset. Completely different person, right? Not even just mindset, it's a different person, right? I seen this video by I forgot his name. He's a Christian and he does consulting, right? And the dude asked him, he's like, what's the difference between poor and wealthy people? And he said, poor people, or the middle class. What's the difference between the middle class and wealthy people? He says the middle class spend money, right? I can't remember exactly what it said. I'll send it to the group. Ultimately, though, what it showed me is like, man, wealthy people and everyone else think completely different, right? Wealthy people don't take the money that they don't trade time for money, right? And because we trade time for money, we are so like attached to this money, and then we spend it on something. That's not what wealthy people do. If they want something that's $100,000, they go find a stream of income that's gonna make them $100,000, and then they go get it. So they're not paying for it. It's a completely different mindset, right? They also live off of faith. They don't think about yesterday. They don't worry about tomorrow. Today is today, right? So I haven't worked a job since like 2020, right? Even with me breaking out of this 9-to-5 person, because again, that's what it is. It's a person. I'm literally creating a whole new being right now. It hasn't been easy at all, especially when you have an other half. So now your other half has to create a whole being also, all right? And because she's a female, they don't operate off of logic the way we do. They operate off of emotion, which isn't bad, right? We both need to operate off of a little bit of both, right? One of the strongest males is going to be someone who is attached to who can learn how to be emotional, right? But anyways, so it is a struggle, right? It's a struggle breaking free of this old habits, this old person, and becoming this new person who thinks completely different than he's trained for the last 25, 30 years, right? With that being said, I haven't had a job. I've been complete faith. God provides for me, right? And the only reason he provides for me is because he's part of me, right? God is up there in the spirit realm, or not up there. He's not up there. He's within us. What I mean, though, is God is energy. He's in the spirit realm. We are physical beings. You got to think like this. I am partnered with God. That's how I think, right? God is the thing I see when I close my eyes, right? But I am the physical thing that needs to manifest it. A lot of people don't love themselves, don't care for themselves, and they don't give themselves credit. You got to give yourself credit. You give God the credit for doing what he does in the invisible realm. Give yourself the credit for manifesting it on this earth. You guys are partners, right? So over the last year, I've been going ham, right? But I've also been breaking free from old habits, old tendencies, old desires, and just old beliefs. Plus, I had some stuff go on in the last church I was in, and I found out my pastor was sleeping with all of the leaders, right? And I still love him and I still pray for him, right? And I understand what's happening to him, so I'm not even mad at him. But what that did was it allowed me to break free from religion. It allowed me to break free from all the things that they try to keep me in a box. And now I have this complete understanding of God, of myself, and it hasn't been easy to do that either, right? So it's like before I was breaking free from one thing and becoming this new thing, but there's still other stuff, other habits that need to be broken from. You know, there's a lot of things, that we all, if you pray and meditate and you journal, there's gonna be a lot of things that we all deal with. There's gonna be a lot of things, habits that we all have, good or bad habits, right? You have to write all those down. If anybody has read this book right here, I'm reading it right now. Atomic Habits. It tells you to do that. It tells you to write down all your good habits and all your bad habits. And every bad habit you have, slowly you want to work on it, right? 1% every single day. Tiny changes equal remarkable results. So I was this 9 to 5 person, successful at it, became a manager, ran a couple stores. But then in 2015, something told me, yo, this isn't you. So I quit. And I went straight to being a real estate agent, decided I did not want to sell houses for other people. And then I got lost. Ended up selling weed, but I knew I wasn't going back to 9 to 5, right? I knew that was not me. But I also knew selling weed wasn't me. Why? Because I also found God. And I found who I truly was in God, with God. So at that point, it's like, man, what do I do? My wife, again, she was on YouTube, found out about wholesaling. And that all started in 2018, led up to 2019, get my first deal. And at that point, I'm like, man, this can work. And then I had the idea to get a production company. And that right there split my energy. And then I learned, man, you got to focus on one thing. So if I focus on real estate, she can be focused on that business. We're both focused on one thing. And now everything is flowing, right? So now it's like the devil comes to me with other things that I need to break. So it's like when it comes to business mindset, when it comes to certain understanding, I'm there. Now it's this other stuff that needs to be broken away. So I just said a lot of stuff, Troy. I'm sorry. But this has definitely been probably one of my more successful years in real estate. Spiritually in growing. My mindset has grown. My knowledge in health has grown. Now it's just the matter of practicing it, which is why I'm studying this book, because I need to learn how to stay consistent in doing that, right? I used to be 305 pounds, dropped to 220, went back up to 335, which was, I believe, last year. Now I'm at 260. So I know how to lose it. It's just a matter of eating properly, consistently eating properly, and just understanding, again, it's a lifestyle. It's a person. I'm not that old person, so let me stop acting like that old person. I am creating a new being.
Yeah, I asked you that. Yeah, because I've been at it for a little over a year, and it took like you said, it's rough, it's hard when you're not getting the results that you put in. But I think um, sometimes people need to hear that, because I've dealt with so many different people in this land game throughout the year. I don't think I had like 30 different people that I've connected with, but out of that 30, it seems like I'm the only one still standing.
Mm.
And I always wonder to myself, I always say, man, I'm not gonna quit. I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. So I think some people need to hear this. I know, like a lot of people tell you, get tough, pull up your bootstraps. But sometimes people need to hear other people's journey because they got to understand that this stuff is not easy. It's not something that comes overnight. Like I seen one female on the Discord. She said, I got a bill that I got a $20,000 bill, which made me kind of laugh. But I get what she was saying. She said I got a $20,000 debt. I need to hurry up and make a deal. Can somebody help me? And I was just like, man, she don't even know. I said she don't even realize how much work she got to put in just to get $1,000. You know what I mean? $1,000 deal. Because my first deal was only $1,000, and that was like the worst deal ever. It was I had to go back and forth with the seller. I had to go back and forth with the title company. I had to go through these extra measures to get this deal done. And at the end of the month, I only made $1,000. But it wasn't about the money with that deal. It was the experience that I gained out of it. You know, like even when you called me and you said, "Hey, you need to get in contact with the guy that got this RV on this land." What I say, I got you, took care of it because of my previous deals that I had that experience with. So that wasn't my first time having to call or find somebody that owned another piece of property and call. I had an encroachment on one deal that I had. Somebody's fence was going over to the lot that I had under contract, and I had to get in contact with that person. So these are that's why I say this learning and going through these. Don't be afraid to go through that adversity because that adversity is going to teach you something for the future. You know what I mean? Don't be quick to quit when it gets tough. Like you said, man, you meditate, you pray about it, you get on your knees, you seek the face of God, and you go from there. It's like with me, man, I just so many times I wanted to quit. I remember when we was on the Discord and we used to have the mindset Mondays, and I was so frustrated, and I would say, man, I was going through this. But you was the only one, Brandon, that listened, and then you had some rebuttal, and your rebuttal I listened and it helped me out. And I was like, man, I'm not going. I said I ain't gonna quit. I say I'm gonna just do and listen to what Brandon said, and I put that into action, and here I am today. You know what I mean? And this is the reason why when you started this group, I was so eager to join you because I remember your energy from the EDB Academy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, man.
So it's like don't be like I tell people like it's not an easy journey. I quit my job a year ago. I've had zero in my bank account. I've had nothing to the point where I had to go and call family members and borrow $100 to get food for my family. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm not ashamed to say that. But I say that to say is that sometimes you go through those things or you go through those hard times to get to certain places. And those hard times to me were a test for me because believe me, I looked online and said, you know what, I'm about to go ahead and just get me a job and just go apply and work for someone. That'll be easier. But something in my gut was telling me, man, that's not who you are. You're not a 9 to 5 person. You never stay 5 years. This is completely honest. Every job that I get, I can be the best person for 5 years. Oh, you're so great. But once that 5 year mark comes, something happens. I'm no good anymore. And that right there was a sign to me. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go through that that process again. I'm gonna just go through this process of becoming this entrepreneur that I know that I am, and doing this land that I know that I am. And I got my own. I make my own sauce, right? I got a sauce company. So I stopped making my sauce and stopped doing shows to focus more. And I'm glad you said focus on one thing. I stopped making my sauce to focus more on the land because I was seeing traction with the land. So when I started seeing traction and I started seeing me getting checks, I was like, you know what? This gotta work. All I gotta do is rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. But every deal is not the same. Like I have buyers, Brandon have buyers. The deal that we got, my buyer didn't want the land, so I sent it over to Brandon and Brandon by it did, which was telling me, man, was totally God sent because the dude that I had the land from, he was like getting frustrated with me, and then when I told him, I told him the truth. I said, I got a guy I work with. His name is Brandon. I said, and he has bias. I said, I think he want to buy the land. And I sent it over to him. And then when Brandon hit me back and said, hey, they want him, man, let me tell you, man, I was so I was excited about it because I didn't just give up on the land and just say, you know what, I'm gonna send you a cancellation contract. We just gonna cancel and I'm gonna let you move on. And sometimes, man, we gotta just, I'm speaking for myself. We gotta just kind of stick with it and see where it go. I got a lot right now in Ocala that needs an extension, and I only got like 2 weeks left on it. But I'm not. I'm not. I didn't cancel the contract because I was like, you know what? I didn't cancel the other two, so I'm not going to cancel these. Maybe somebody come in and I can give a quick close. But to be honest with you, if I don't get somebody by next week, I'm gonna go ahead and cancel it. So
I think you
but
sent me that one, right?
yeah, I
Let me
sent you
also
that.
look too, cause maybe I can. Maybe we gonna find a buyer, brother.
Yeah, so I did send you that, but I sent it to I sent it to another buyer that I had. He declined it. So I sent to like 6 different buyers. They all declined them, right? And it's like with me, it's like sometimes I question. I'm like, man, I got all these buyers, but every time I find a lot or I find land, I send it to them. They declined it. They declined my land. I'm like, what is the purpose? Why am I doing this? And like I said, I'm in a phase right now, to figure out what's going on with that. Like why, where am I going wrong? Why am I not say where I'm going wrong? Because I'm finding the land, I'm just not finding the stuff that my buyers will take. And I'm trying to figure out like what's going on with that. So I moved over to North Carolina, and Brandon, I swear to goodness, bro, I was in North Carolina for a week and I found the deal. And I was like, I should have did this a long time ago. you know? So it was like I should have went to North Carolina a long time ago. But everything happens in timing. I think everything happens in timing.
Facts.
And then I started finding different buyers in North Carolina. I got like 4 buyers now. And you gotta understand, it took me 8 to 9 months to find 4 buyers in Florida. And it only took me like a month to find 4 buyers in North Carolina. But that just comes from me not saying I just quit, I give up. Instead of me quitting, I said I'm gonna go to another state and I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going to different states until I find which market is easier for me. So I just wanted to share that, man, because I know a lot of times when people start this journey, they want to quit because they're not seeing results. And I'm a prime example, man. Please keep going, keep trying, be persistent, be consistent, man. Just keep doing it. Keep it. Keep. If you don't have paid resources, figure out how to use free resources. The free resources they may take a little longer, but they do work. And then once you use those free resources, and you get a deal, then you can take some of that money and then you can start getting your paid resources back. I drained my whole bank account paying for resources, paying for um, prop stream and Panda Doc and buying lists. I think one time I shouldn't have done this, but I think I had like $1,000 in my account, and I spent like $600 on like on finding sellers. I started getting a list, but I still use those lists till today though. I still use those, and I'm still getting deals off those lists. And I bought those lists like 6 or 7 months ago, and I'm still getting deals off those lists. So man, just when you get discouraged, man, just call somebody, send somebody a message. Hit me up. I don't mind if you feel like you're discouraged. Hit me up, ask me some questions. I'll be glad to give you some motivation or to help you out anyway.
Listen, my brother,
If you
that's
don't mind
fire.
me asking, oh,
No, go ahead,
Sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
That was good. If you don't mind me asking, with the buyers that are declining the properties that you're sending to them, do they ever give any type of feedback to you as to why they're denying it?
They do. They do. I think it's a lot of times me just a lot of times it's me getting the deal and not doing the full research, which is a lesson. Like the Ocala lot needed an extension, but it was in the area that the buyer wanted. It was in Marion Oaks, but I didn't know at the time that that the Marion Oaks lots, some of them required extensions, and the buyers wasn't buying extensions at that time. So I learned that. And with the two lots that me and Brandon have in escrow right now, those were in a flood zone, and my buyer didn't buy a flood zone, but Brandon buyer does. So that was the difference. And then I was like, okay. Um, so it's feedback like that, like me not like even with the Palm Bay lots when Brandon put out the criteria for the Palm Bay lots. I have a Palm Bay buyer, but his buyer's criteria is a little better than my buyer. So it behoove me to use the buyer that Brandon is using because I have a little more I have a little more leeway with his buyer. My buyer is very strict. So he don't want certain and certain that, certain that. And he's not budging. And it's a lot of times it's me. I don't do the research. I don't get the lot when I send the contract out because I don't want to lose the seller. I say I gotta hurry up and get this contract out because I don't want this seller to go to anyone else. Because you got thousands of people calling this seller. You got people calling. My sellers always say, I'm gonna go with you because you were polite, or I'm gonna go with you because you called, or I'm gonna go with you because I said a certain word or I said something. A lot of times my sellers say that. My sellers say that. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna lose this seller, so I don't do the proper research and dig a little deeper. And that's why a lot of times I lose my buyer. A lot of times I don't get it right and they reject the lots. So
So
make sure that
Okay.
you're doing your due diligence to the T for your buyer. Like don't be like me and rushing and trying to get them and send it to them, and then the next thing you're disappointed in the morning when you see that email. So
facts. So real quick, right?
That's understandable. Thank
There's a
you.
couple things that I would say. Right? Actually, yeah, a bunch of things I'm gonna say to you, Troy. So the first thing, right? Everything is a learning experience, right? So nothing happens to us; it happens for us, right? For that we can learn, right? So you learned a bunch of stuff with these lots that didn't go through, right? The bigger picture is though, is you're creating, you're an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are business owners. You're creating a business, right? A business isn't a one-man team. If you ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad, there's quadrants. If you haven't read Rich Dad Poor Dad, y'all go read it. It's gonna open up your mind to the truth, right? There's quadrants and there's two sides. There's I don't even remember what they're called honestly, but there's pretty much the employee side. Look at that, bam. Can you open up to the quadrants on there? Or is it that book that has the quadrants? One of them has the quadrants, right? You pretty much have employee, small business, big business, investments, right? This side right here is where wealthy people is at. This side right here is where 95% of the world is at. The United States is at, right? Employee and small business. Too many of us are building small businesses. Right now, we all have small businesses. Until every single position in our businesses is taken care of by someone else, then it's a small business, right? A big business has systems, processes, employees, everything. Last week I showed this chart. I'll show it again. But this is a big business, right? This is a big business. If you build one of these, y'all, you have built a big wholesaling business, right? You have a CEO, which is still a position, right? You don't have to be a CEO. You can just be the owner. You can hire a CEO. You can hire a COO. You can hire the director of marketing. You can hire all these different positions, right? This is what a big business is. A small business is someone that has an LLC and they go out and they work every single day in that job. Right? So there's a lot of people that are doing, let's say you have a lash business and you're just doing lashes everything. That's a small business. If you have right now, Troy has his business. Serenity Houses has his business, right? But those are small businesses because if they don't work it, the business makes no money, right? So we need to build big businesses. So for Troy, right? First thing is we're here to solve problems. One thing that you have are deals. You have not deals. You have sellers who want to sell to you and have signed contracts, right? The problem is who is going to buy their house? These people need help. Someone needs to buy it. Someone needs to buy their land. You're the problem solver, right? So there's two sides to this business, right? Let me show this thing real quick. Right? You have your acquisition side. Then you have your disposition side. Okay? When you speak with a buyer, y'all, you're acting in the dispo side, right? Disposition agents, what they do all day is they find buyers, right? Acquisitions specialists, what they do all day is find sellers and get that bad boy under contract, right? So this person right here needs to sell that deal. This agent who has a bunch of buyers under their hand is looking for deals, right? So Troy, you're operating in two different parts of your business, right? Those deals you have under contract, like the Ocala lot, I wouldn't stop putting those deals under contract. I'd put everything under contract, and I would help them and solve their problems. How do we do that? We need to find someone to buy this deal. Whether it's one of my buyers, whether it's a new buyer, whether it's a retail buyer, I need to figure out how can I market this deal and find a buyer for it. Right? So that's why on my contract, I can market this bad boy anywhere I feel like it. All right? Now, I'm letting them know that's not to hurt them. This is to help you. You want to sell this deal. Ain't no one buying it, so I'm going to help you sell it. Right? Now, you also build a bunch of relationships with buyers. Right? You want to find them deals. So, don't forget about your buyers, but also don't forget about those deals you have under contract. We need to find buyers for those. Right? And real quick, one of the easiest ways to do that is like this. Bam. So we have this plot of land right here in Ocala. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line in this area right here. And then there's 188 unique properties. I'm going to go over to owners. I'm going to type individual and corporate. Maximum owned. Let's do 1. Minimum properties owned, 10. 13 of them. There's 13 individuals or corporations that have owned a plot of land in this area for only a year. And they own minimum of 10 lots. 10 properties. Doesn't have to be lots. 10 properties. Bam. There's one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this real quick. And I'm going to type in... I'm going to put the address. Buyers. Save. So let's go check that out real quick. Y'all, I'm giving y'all a gem. I hope y'all paying attention. If you have a plot of land that you can't find buyers for, this is exactly how you do it. Which one was that? Bam. These are all the buyers in that small little area. You could pull all of Marion Oaks if you want to. Right? But just in that small little area. 1, 2, I might have a buyer for you, my brother. I might have one. We'll see. I feel like I sent it to them, though. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11 different buyers just in that one area. So, problem solver. I have this plot of land. I have this seller who I built a relationship with. And they agreed to go under contract with me, right? Now, I sent it to my main buyers. My main buyer's like, hey, man, this is getting the extension. I don't want it. What does that do for you now? That gives you ammo, right? To go back to the seller and say, hey, This needs an extension. The extension is 500 feet. That's going to cost a couple $1,000s. I need you to come down on price. So now we got this bad boy even lower. And now we're reaching out to all of these 11 people. Not only are we doing that, we're putting it on Facebook Marketplace, right? If you want to spend some money, you can put that bad boy on flatfee.com. Or this is not the one I use anymore. I have a new one that you can spend like $100 and list it with these websites. So you could use this one if you want to, right? But you can list the property on the MLS through these websites. You don't even need an agent.
Can we get a list of them? Like websites that we can go to if we need to do
So I
this?
can only give you the ones that I actually use or know of. So I used to use this
Okay,
one,
that's
and
fine.
I've used it 4 times. So I pretty much spent $100. I filled out all the information. I create the post. I create everything that you will see on Realtor.com or the MLS, and then it posts it on the MLS and every website. Instead of paying an agent, this company is an agent, and you just put $100. You can list it on there, right? You just want to let them know that you're going to do that. I mean, technically, you don't have to if your contract says, like mine does. My contract clearly says that I can market it anywhere, including the MLS, right? So sometimes I'll just go straight ahead and market it on there. But ultimately, y'all, we're problem solvers, right? That's what an entrepreneur does. They solve problems. So if you have deals under contract, I need to figure out how to get this bad boy sold. That's one position. That's your acquisitions department. But you have a dispositions department. They are just building relationships with buyers all day. And those buyers, you want to solve their problem. What's their problem? They need more deals, right? So you can market in their area. If they don't want a deal, I'm just going to go find another buyer, right? But hopefully I can help both sides out. One way or another, deals are getting sold, deals are getting purchased, right? And you're building more buyers by doing that, by finding more, right? So Troy, that's number 1. Number 2, continue to be smart with the money as you're closing the deals. Continue to grind. Never, ever stop, right? Not because you're going to be doing this forever, but because that hot sauce needs to be sold to millions of people around the world. My brother, if that's a vision of yours, if that's something you created, then that needs to be a fat goal on your list, right? But you do one at a time. So the whole point of this is you're building your company right now. You're building a business, not a small business, right? I'm going to send you that thing that I showed, that sheet. Every one of those positions, you need to hire someone to do that, right? You need to hire a marketing person. You need to hire a cold caller. You need to hire an SMS person. You need to hire an acquisitions person. You need to hire a dispositions person. You need to hire a transaction coordinator that's going to send all these emails and contracts and all that back and forth. You need to hire a chief operations, chief executive officer, a CEO, and a chief operations officer, right? You can be a CEO of this business, but you're going to have to make sure that is operating properly every single month. So that's going to take a small percentage of your energy, right? So you can still do that, right? But find a COO. Find someone that you can trust that wants to work a 9 to 5 and they want to be in charge of the business. Because the COO, they're looking over the marketing person, they're looking over the acquisition, they're in charge and looking over everyone. Anyone here that has worked a 9 to 5 can understand this. Because you had a manager who had a manager who had a manager who knows how many managers in between. Ultimately, though, it goes up to a COO and a CEO. If you are the CEO of your company, you still have a job, right? But that's a small percentage of the job. So it's okay to still be a CEO and then start your hot sauce thing, right? Ultimately, though, my brother, right now, you're in the grinding process to building out that. An investment company. A corporation. You see what I'm saying? You're trying to build a McDonald's. You're trying to build Keller Williams. You're trying to build a Google. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're doing. We're building that. So everything that you're learning, make sure you don't forget it. Make sure you write that bad boy down. Make sure you understand what the structure of an investment, wholesaling company, whatever you want to call it, is called. All the different positions. And as you start to build your capital, start to hire out all those positions. And the book to do all of that, where that came from, the thing I just showed you guys, is this book right here. This book is going to teach you, y'all, how to do all of that. How to build a 7-figure company, all the positions, how to hire, how to create core values, everything. It's going to teach you all of that stuff. This book. And then this book is going to teach you how to manage it. If you are trying to build a big business, not a small business, you need these 2 books. These are the books you study. They become your Bible. And as you're doing this and focused on this, you're going to build a big business that you no longer have to work for, but it still operates and makes millions of dollars every year. And then what do? You take some of that money that is allocated properly because you're able to pay yourself and able to get profit and able to do all that stuff while your business still runs. And then you go do what you really, really want to do, which is that hot sauce. If that's something you really want to do. You see what I'm saying? Or the shows or whatever it is that your desire is. You know what I'm saying? But those 2 books is fire. This book is fire. The book that we didn't get into, Think and Grow Rich, is fire. We're not getting into it, but I do want to read one thing to you guys before we dip out or before we answer questions, right? It's the process. It says, fix your mind on the exact money you want to. Fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. It is not sufficient merely to say, I want plenty of money. Be definite as to the amount. There is a psychological reason for definiteness, which will be described in the next chapters. Number 2, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing. Y'all, everything is giving and receiving. Giving and receiving. Giving and receiving. You give and you receive. So do not be too prideful to receive. Y'all, someone wants to come bless you, receive it with an open heart, excited to receive. Why? Because God's blessing you. And you're also helping them achieve this, the giving. They are giving, and then they will receive later on. Everything is given and receiving in this world. Number 3, establish a definite date by when you want to intend to possess the. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. Number 4, create a definite plan for carrying out the desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action. Number 5, write out clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for its acquisitions. State what you intend to give in return for the money and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. Number 6. So number 5 is pretty much writing out those 4 steps. Number 6, and the most important part, read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night and once after rising in the morning. And in exclamation points. As you read it, see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. Yo, write down your statement. As you read it, see it, feel it, and believe yourself already in possession of the money. Then in here he repeats it. It says, imagine yourself successful. Always picture yourself successful. Visualize the person you desire to become. Set aside time each day to be alone and undisturbed. Get comfortable and relax. Close your eyes and concentrate on your desire and goals. See yourself in this new environment, capable and self-confident. Then it says, reflect on your past success. Every success, be it large or small, is proof that you're capable of achieving more success. Celebrate each success. You can recall it when you begin to lose faith in yourself. So whenever you're feeling down, y'all, do that. Reflect on the good stuff in the past. Then it says, set definite goals. Have a clear direction of where you want to go. Be aware when you begin to deviate from these goals and take immediate corrective action. Then it says, respond positively to life. Develop a positive self-image. Your image, your reactions to life, and your decisions are completely within your control. Y'all, this book is a Bible. This book is a Bible. Can you put how to find those types of buyers in the Telegram? Are you talking about what I just did on PropStream? What I just showed you on PropStream? If so, I already have a video for that. I'll post that in Telegram. But y'all, get this book and study it. Study. This is going to fix the mind when it comes to business, right? If you're trying to build a big business, These 2 books, killer. This is what it is. The money and the actual business structure, how to hire, all that good stuff. And then to break the habits, bam. Because y'all, this is a new person. It's a new being. It's a new identity. Who you think you are is not who you truly are. Those are just a set of programmed subconscious beliefs. You can change all of that. All right? Anyways, y'all. So, Troy, my brother, that was fire, what you shared with us. Do not quit. And I know you're not going to quit because you already went through so much and you're succeeding, right? So now it's just learning from all the things that you've went through. Continue to push. Continue to stack up some money. Continue to stack up some deals. And also, don't get comfortable, right? So the fact that you went into a different market is beautiful. All right, I need to do the same thing. But this can be done anywhere, y'all, with anything, right? Any type of real estate. If we come across an owner that wants to sell something, we can sell it. If we come across a buyer who gives us criteria, we can find it. Be it houses, land, whatever it is, commercial, right? We just have to adapt and we have to learn what that part of the business is about, what that game is about. Ultimately, though, none of us want to be working the rest of our life. So while you're doing this, make sure you establish processes, establish systems, write everything you're learning down, recreate videos, Loom videos of yourself, right? Showing how to do these things so that you can replicate yourself, because ultimately you just want to replicate yourself in each one of these positions. So Loom videos are the best, right? And also remember where you come from. You do come from a 9-to-5, so you understand what a 9-to-5 is. You understand that when you get hired, there's a system, there's a whole process, there's a whole training, there's all of that stuff. There's a 90-day window where you can get fired. And there's a reason for that, right? All of this stuff is very necessary, y'all. So that what? We can be free. Free to do what? Help more people. Just the way that we want to do it. Right? Anyone have any questions? Anything that they want to talk about before we leave? It's been an hour and a half. I love it though, man. I love it. You know, when I used to do the EDB, I still love EDB. Elijah's my guy. But man, they wanted me to cut off at within an hour, which I understand. All right, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes I want to cut off in an hour, but I love trying to help you guys. You know.
Hi, good night, guys. I just wanted to touch base on what Troy was saying earlier, that not giving up is the key factors in everything that we're doing. This business can be frustrating, and we still have a life, we still have kids, we still have people that we still have to listen to, we have to report to and stuff like that during the process. So I started looking into land, like I would say a year ago. I haven't closed any deal yet. I was closed probably like 3 times and fell through, but I'm still at it, and I'm on here all the time, every week. So, I see what the business has been doing for other people, and I know and I believe that this business is going to be great. For the last, I would say, 4 or 5 months, my mind haven't been in the right space, but it's getting better now. So, I'm calling every day, speaking to sellers, and building a relationship. But I believe that one day something will happen soon. So I'm not giving up. I'm still in the game. So I just wanted to say that.
Hey, Sarah, I appreciate that, and I'm gonna pray for you real quick in 1 second.
Thank you.
Do you have this book and have you read it?
No, I don't have that book.
Get
I
it.
need to buy it. Can you pin it when you finish, please?
It's actually already pinned. So if you go into my
Okay.
pin section, I have a list of all the books are already in my pin section. Every one of the
Okay.
books that I posted or I just talked about are in the pin sections, and I have a link for you. Okay, but listen, get this book. Trust me when I say get this book, because it's way more than just your thoughts and your mindset. It talks about leadership qualities. It breaks down everything. It breaks down how your sexual desires is all just energy. And if we stop having sex for a couple days and actually just focus our brain on business, that energy will rise up, right? And will give us more power. It talks about a lot of stuff. This book right here, yo. Sorry, I just went that way. But it's the truth, right? Not too much for women. Well, yeah, for both, men and female. We all have desires, right? But if we can control that and raise that energy up into our brain, anything that we think will come into pass quick. That's how it works, right? But start with this book. Sarah, I promise you, start with this book. Take time to read, right?
Which book is
And
that? I can't see it.
Think and Grow Rich. I think it's backwards right now, but it's Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
Again, check the pin section in the Telegram. It's in there. This exact version. I have a link to it. Okay? But get it. Trust me, get it. Read it. If you have a Bible, read Proverbs and read Psalms.
Okay.
Listen, anyone in here that is dealing with anything, Proverbs and Psalms saved my life. I promise you. Right? I talk about all these other books, but it all started with the Bible. And all of these books get their information from the same God that wrote the Bible. So it's all in the Bible too. All right? Proverbs and Psalms. Proverbs will give you wisdom, give you understanding. Psalms are prayers to God. So while you're reading Psalms, not only do you gain understanding, but you're praying, you're talking to God. Right? Spend time doing that every morning. If you're like, oh well, I'm busy in the morning, wake up earlier, right? And at night, at least those 2 times. And man, trust me, everything internally will start to get even better. You'll get more understanding. You'll start to feel a lot better. And if you feel better, listen, feeling is the key to success. When you feel good, when you feel deals, when you feel like, man, not worried, right? My man Jamel told me, hey, if it happens, cool. If not, it is what it is. That's a feeling of not worrying. He might not even know it. The fact that you say that, right, means you're not worrying. Means like, hey, it's cool if it does, if it's not. Bro, that's the perfect place to be. Right? You start to attract so much when you are not worrying. If you're not worrying about a deal, right, that means you believe that it's about to happen. Remember that, y'all. Everything is feeling. That's why meditating is key, because when you meditate and you detach from your thoughts, you can become so aware of your energy. You can become so aware of how you feel, right? And if you truly believe, you will not worry. Believing is not worrying. Worrying is not believing. All right? So, remember, pray, meditate, fix internally first, and everything on the outside will just work out. Always. All right? Sarah,
Yes.
let me pray real quick for everyone out here, and I'm going to pray for you. And if there's anything that you want to talk about on a deeper level, just send me a personal message. All right?
Thank you.
Everyone close your eyes. Father God, Father God, I am. You are amazing. I thank you for life. I thank you for this opportunity to pray for this group of people that are here, that have been on this call for the last hour and a half, a little longer. And I ask that you just continue to open their eyes, open up their ears, open up every part of them spiritually to the energy that is within. And I ask that you remove right now any anxiety, any worry, any fear, any depression that might be creeping around or in any one of these. Father, I right now cleanse Sarah from the top of her head to the sole of her feet. I command any thoughts that are holding her back to disappear right now. Anything that is hindering her, anything that is slowing her down, I remove it. Any roadblocks, any mountains in the way, we remove them. And I declare and decree straight paths for everyone on here. A straight path, an easy path, a path of life, light, love, and joy. Father, have your way in their life. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
My man, Zach.
Okay,
Anyways, y'all, I appreciate y'all. Thursday, we'll hop on another call. Ending this one. If y'all have any questions, obviously the Telegram, and don't be scared to hit me up for. Do not send me a personal message if it has to do with real estate, unless it's an address. Okay. M Pala, whatever your name is, I know that you've been unmuted. What is your name, if you can, real quick? I know he just said something. He just did some cute thing. Anyways, I guess not. Do not ask me any personal messages about real estate. Put that in the Telegram chat. Okay. Unless it's an address, you can send it to me, then ask me the question in the Telegram chat. But if you have anything personal, anything spiritual, energy, mindset, any of that stuff that you do not feel comfortable with people knowing, hit me up. Y'all, this is what I love to do. That's what I do. All right. So, anyways, y'all have a great, amazing night. I hope this was good for y'all. Like and follow me on YouTube. I'm about to start posting a lot more content for you guys. And have a great night, all right?
Hey, Brandon, I got one question though, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, is it okay for me to send that information that I sent you that last message on Telegram that the attorney's asking for?
Hold on one
You
second.
remember?
I haven't looked on Telegram. Wait, say that again?
The information that he's requesting, is it okay to send that stuff? Because you I know that we're JVing on it, but he's wanting my LLC information and all of my address as far as my business address and all that stuff, and it's gonna be assigned. But it's okay to send that to him.
So yeah, you can go ahead and so send it to him, but let him know in that same. I think I said it in the message.
Did you? Did you?
Yeah.
You probably did. I didn't really. I hopped on the call.
You good? So this is what I said. I said you can give him your information, but let him know that your title company will handle all of this. And like previously stated, we are working with Miranda on this deal, so they will end up taking title of the property.
Okay.
And let them know that they'll reach out to him in a few days.
Okay, I got you.
So you can definitely send him, so you're not looking, weird or anything like that.
Yeah.
Send him what he asked for, but then put like a like I said earlier, I don't know if you did, but I think you told him we're working with Miranda, right?
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay, perfect. Be like I said earlier, we're working with Miranda on this deal, so they will be the ones actually taking title of this property, and they will reach out to you within the next week or two, once everything gets started in the title process.
Gotcha. Okay.
And my brother, this kind of stuff is rarely gonna happen.
Yeah, I know it's a one-off. It happens.
And it's a great learning thing, like Troy was talking about. It's great to learn this kind of stuff, and it also just shows like, he wants to. He's legit, He's a legit attorney. He wants things to make sure it runs smoothly for his client, and he wants our information, which is no problem. Give me your information. Be like, but just like I said earlier, we're partnering with Miranda on this deal, so they're going to be the ones taking title of this, and they're going to reach out to you. Them and their title company will reach out to you within the next week or two regarding all of that.
Okay.
Cool?
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, I got you.
My man. Everyone else, check out my buyer's criteria. We about to do deals. And also, I switched up the skip tracing prices. So check out my skip tracing too, y'all. It's very, very, very affordable. For real. Good data.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Have a great night.
Thanks.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye.